Welcome back. You're watching an NDTV exclusive, the Indian Mujahideen in their own words. Well, joining us to debate the implications of these detailed accounts that NDTV has in its possession of members of the Indian Mujahideen here in Mumbai, and also accounts of what drove them to all of this. We have with us Deven Bharti, who is of course Additional Commissioner of Police of the Crime Branch, which in fact has made those significant arrests, and they are in fact in his custody. Also joining us, Majid Memon, Senior Advocate of the High Court. And also joining us from New Delhi, Kamal Farooqi, Member of the Muslim Personal Law Board. Mr. Deven Bharti, to you first. Now, this business of a large number of these Indian Mujahideen accused who you have in your custody saying that they want to turn approver. First, just to ask you that these are all statements that they're making. They're talking of their own free will. There's no fear of any torture or any third degree or any other methods that you've used which has led them to change their stand.
We have not received any official communication, but what we have learned through media that in the court one of the accused has asked that he wants to turn approver. But we have to look the case first. We will examine what the notice of the court is with our lawyer and with the investigators, and what is in the furtherance of the case. We will go by that merit, and then only we will decide. We have not decided any of the case yet.
Okay, no, but you haven't answered my question. No third degree, no torture is being used for them to suddenly have a change of heart.
No, nothing. You know, I would like to point out that the police is the only agency where each and every action is being monitored by the court.
Yes.
From the point of arrest we made, and every 14 days we have to put them to the court.
Okay.
We subject them to medical checks regularly. Nobody has made a single complaint.
All right, Majid Memon, the significance of the fact that one or two or more of them may turn approver. There were approvers, as you very well know, in the 93 blast case as well, which many said was critical to the case. And again now in the case of these Indian Mujahideen, some of these young men wanting to turn approver. Could that be critical to the case?
See, we must understand what is the meaning of an approver. An approver is a person who repents,
yes,
and who wants to speak out to the court his role, his participation and the details of the crime, to the advantage, as far as the prosecution is concerned, as far as the state is concerned, to the advantage of the case, that the truth could be arrived at in the court, yes, by assistance or facilitation by this particular approver. So it's possible, but as you said earlier, there can't be too many approvers. You see,
there can only be two or one or two at the best.
Not one or two. What I'm saying is that why we are the law allows this approver pardon provision, okay, is to ensure that others who have committed the crime receive punishment.
Okay, let me ask you, Mr. Farooqi, that unlike in the case of what happened in Delhi with the Batla House, where there have been so many protests, and in fact in many ways there is still denial over what has happened, here in Mumbai, with those who've been arrested, there's an acceptance of the fact that many of these boys who were involved have in fact owned up to what they did, and in many ways there's really been no questioning. Do you believe that their account is important, not just from the point of view of the law, but also to try and understand what has happened? What are the root causes which has created this phenomena of Indian Mujahideen? And the only way to tackle it is, as a starting point, to accept the fact that there's a problem.
Yeah, I personally feel that it's a good opportunity for us to understand as to what is the problem. But again, this is within the court. As to what Majid Bhai has said, it is very difficult to understand whether it is coming out on their own sweet will, or they have been tortured. What Mr. Bharti said, in fact, this sounds to be very good when he says something about the police, but the track record of the police is not that good what he is saying. In fact, these kind of reports we have seen in the past as well, that we found later on that it was done in a kind of extreme pressures and torture and whatnot. But if at all, what Mr. Bharti is saying, if anything is coming out on their own, and if they are making a self-confession or a statement of approval, we would be very happy to know, rather, it would serve the national purpose if we are in a position to understand the psyche of all those kind of things, if it is the real kind of thing.
Okay, Mr. Bharti, if you can just tell us.
And what kind of mujahideen they are.
Yes. Mr. Bharti, if you can tell us, because apart from the account that we just heard and saw, you're getting a sense of the psyche, you're getting a sense of what drove them to it, but you're also getting a sense of people like Mansoor Pirbhoy or even Sadiq for that matter are actually in some ways going back on the same ideology or the indoctrination that drove them into this?
Look, it is very difficult to say that we are not in the business of a speculation. Whatever evidence we have that suggests that they were spotted by the anti-national elements with the foreign hands definitely with it. They were spotted and they were very, very in a perfect manner they were brainwashed, and then they resorted to all the blasts that we saw in the last few years. So whether they will revert back to that ideology or not, that we cannot say at this moment. But if the court will put us any application of the accused in front of us, definitely we will examine with our prosecutor and see if the case is it is helping the case, then we will definitely accept that.
All right, of course, but you will not be able to take those decisions, as you said, till the court speaks its mind, but also it will be very difficult also to choose, because someone like Sadiq, for instance, is a very, very critical player in this entire bomb blast. So whether or not he would be acceptable as approver is something which would be a difficult dilemma for you. But thank you very much indeed, all of you, for joining us tonight on this program. Thanks so much for watching. From all of us here, goodbye.